New tonight, we're learning more from the Madison Metropolitan Sewerage District after thousands of gallons of raw sewage spilled into Lake Mendota last week. A valve broke during routine maintenance on the city's west side, pouring 45,000 gallons into the lake, with 34,000 actually reaching Lake Mendota. Officials say they were able to capture back another 11,000 gallons. That's equal to roughly 2 residential in-ground swimming pools actually making it into the lake. As a result, 2 homes reported wastewater was found in their basements as well. Officials say this unfortunately happens with aging infrastructure.
We're doing what the whole nation is doing with aging infrastructure, and we're trying to replace things that are faulty or, not in great condition. And this is one of those opportunities. We were doing that, and it was in such bad condition that it fell off. So in this case, we were able to respond quickly.
Now, the valve has since been repaired. Officials say anyone experiencing any impacts from the spill should contact the sewerage district.